G'day fellas and welcome to a casted game. We are here on Gorge to witness two Conqueror 3 players face off in the quest for climbing up that ladder. I don't know about you guys, I've been playing a fair bit of ranked lately. It's been good fun, but there's been a distinct lack of Japanese and Holy Roman Empire players, so I'm looking forward to today's game. Spawning in on the south side of the map in the color teal, playing as the Holy Roman Empire, we've got our Chinese friend. And in the north side of the map, in the color green, playing as the Japanese, we've got Fei Chan. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a casted game. It is a pleasure to have your company here. Let's get to it, because we are going to have some hot action today. I'm feeling it. I'm sure you are as well. We'll start off with our nice little split screen as scouts are almost on top of each other. We can see in the mini-map just how close they are with regard to their screens, watching as these scouts go through, but yet somehow they don't actually see each other through the fog of war. So there we go. Now they are spotting each other out. Both of them going to be crossing over, and we can see that the decision from our Chinese friend is just to head up and then head back around. So it's been one of those cases where they've somewhat crossed each other's paths and stolen each other's sheep. So hopefully everybody comes out of it okay. We can see that at the moment our Chinese friend has got 7 sheep compared over to Fei, who's got 4 sheep. So slightly ahead. Now, let's talk about today's matchup, because this is bound to be a fun one. And I say that because you've got a little bit of a trump card right here, and that is the Holy Roman Empire. Now, the Holy Roman Empire have got a number of bad matchups, but they've also got a number of good matchups. Arguably, the Mongols is probably their worst matchup. And then something like the French, back in the good old days, the French used to be a very strong counter to the Holy Roman Empire. But when it comes to civilizations that they do well against, one of them is the Chinese, another one is the Japanese. And the reason why is because at the moment, the meta for the Japanese is largely about going to Castle Age. One of the things that we do when we go Castle Age is we look to pick up relics, and that's exactly what the Japanese player will be looking to do today. However, the only thing is the Holy Roman Empire is going to be doing it much faster. So I'm curious to see whether Fei clues into that and whether she looks to try and get a couple of units out in the feudal age. I think that's probably going to be a wise choice, even moving into maybe some honor Bageisha, or maybe even just throwing down, I don't know, maybe a horseman or two could do some work, because if you want to try and pick up these central relics, that's going to be really important, because the Holy Roman Empire is just so much faster than you. But interesting decision here. The Archon Chapel coming down on the back of the base. I think this is about the best spot you could ask for. The gold is towards the front. There's no real world where you throw down the Archon here and get stone and gold and a little bit of the wood line. Like, it's just not going to happen. It's way too far away. So this is a pretty smart decision here from our Chinese friend. Meanwhile, on the north side of the map, Fei does throw down that Kura storehouse. So no real surprise there coming in from Fei with that landmark. This landmark, of course, is pretty much the standard when it comes to land maps. On hybrid maps, you can often see the other landmark that gets thrown out. I say the other landmark like I don't know its name. Of course I know its name. It's the Coca Township, guys. Don't worry. It's been so long since I've seen the Coca Township. It just kind of falls off in relevance. But 3 villages over on stone. I'm assuming this is for the outpost emplacement. Indeed, it is going to be. So this is the smart move that you can do with the Holy Roman Empire, because you can carry up to 14 resources. 14 times 2 is 28, times 3, 42. And you might be thinking, but Drongo, you need 50 resources to make the emplacement. Well, you got to remember the emplacement is cheaper for the Holy Roman Empire. So there's a really nice synergy there between that extra carry capacity and that reduced outpost emplacement cost. On the other side of the map, though, we don't see an outpost coming down just yet for Fei, and this could be the fact that she knows that her opponent is going to be looking for a fast castle as well, and won't be thinking about getting any units out. Of course, a stall on the gold could be absolutely game-ending for her, so it might be a good idea just to get an outpost down to start with, but perhaps she'll just wait and see whether a stable comes down or something like that, because you can see that she does not have a lot of wood in the bank. I don't even think she's really working towards it, but we'll check in and see. Now, one of the things you will note, we are casting the Japanese, and there are some things that you'll be able to see and some things that you won't be able to see. So, as an example, in the bottom left-hand corner, you'll see down here, we've got all of the relevant daimyos. Well, not daimyos, but oh my god. Am I really having a mental blank here? The daimyo manor is what the town center is, and these guys down here are called the... I really can't. Don't worry. Bannerman. Bannerman. I got it, Bannerman. Jeez. Sorry. I don't mean to trigger anybody out there. I'm trying my best over here, all right? All right, let's check in and see how Faye's doing. So we've got the banner man that we can see, but one of the things that we won't be able to see are those wheelbarrow upgrades. So that's something that we're still working on at the moment. So at the best way that I'm thinking about doing that, and let me know if you've got any ideas for it, but basically I'm going to just be putting something over the top of this wheelbarrow, which will look like the Japanese upgrade. So if you have a look here, it'll just look like this, without the big W on it and all that kind of stuff. And then it will have just 3 little dashes underneath it to represent it. And that'll be something that I manually upgrade or update during the game. The only problem is that the colors that are in here are actually the civilization colors. And so, unfortunately, I have to do that 8 times and change it every game depending on the color. And I also have to flip it over here because they might be on the left side as well. And that's a lot of work. So I'm thinking there's got to be an easier way. I was thinking of maybe doing a pixel read and looking to try and read the pixels up here on the villager bar, and hopefully that would be a way that I could fill that color in, but it's still something that is being worked on behind the scenes. But have a look at this. Stable is going to be coming up here for our Holy Roman Empire player. I'm suspecting we're probably not going to be seeing a horseman, though. You could technically afford it because you're a little bit behind on gold. Now, one of my other questions is with regard to prelates. Now, we've only seen the 1 prelate out so far, no second prelate, and I feel like this is a bit of a mistake. One of the big things that I always talk about over on Patreon whenever I'm coaching for the Holy Roman Empire is I say that ideally you want to have more prelates out by the time that you click the Regnitz Cathedral. So you should macro to have extra gold. As an example, we see here that there's an extra 200 food that's being floated by a Holy Roman Empire player. Ideally, that should have been an extra 200 gold that was being floated. And what would have happened instead is that we'd make prelates. And then that way, what we can do is we can march our prelates out onto the map, as we can see is going to happen right now, but instead of just marching 1, we're marching 2 or 3. And that means that we come out here as soon as we age up 1 relic, 2 relics, 3 relics, and then that way there's no real question as to how many relics you're going to be getting. And that is something that I think is really important and is sorely missed here in this situation, because this is a really quick age up, and an amazing way to complement it would have just been through those prelates. And we can see they are going to be constructed now, or trained now, but this is just one of those cases where you're going for your safe relic. So hopefully our Holy Roman Empire player manages to pick up a couple of relics, because they're a lot more important to him than they are over to Faye. Age up's coming through. It's going to be the floating gate. No real surprise here for her. Moving into the floating gate. Plenty of villagers, quite far away from the base as well. I think that's probably a smart move, just considering the fact that she's got quite a bit that she's going to be working with here underneath the town center, of course, the daimyo. But the age up does come through. Relics. Oh, the bug. The bug happened. This bug is so damn annoying. You got to really watch out for it. I saw someone posted about it on Reddit today, actually. Watch out for this bug. It happens with the prelates, but it happens with a lot of other things as well. But it mainly feels like the prelates. Looks like villager has been rallied out here over to the relic as well. But essentially what happens is you issue a command out to the prelate to go pick up this relic, and then it will pick up, and then you shift command it back to the Regnitz, and basically it just walks out to the relic, looks at it, gives a little kiss, and then just walks on home without the relic. And that's not a nice way to leave somebody that you've just given a kiss to. Ideally, you want to walk them home as well. So yeah, something to keep in mind. But the age up comes through on the other side of the map. Faye now throws the Yorishiro inside the archery range. We'll begin moving into archery, or ranged units. It's going to be going into the Onimusha, a very strong unit in this matchup. Of course, you want to be making lots of armored units as the Holy Roman Empire. You've got some incredible armored units. The men-at-arms, of course, the Lancer, or the Knight, very, very strong. But you do have that charge on board as well. Now, we see that Faye's bringing the Scout with her, which means that she should be able to tank up that charge if the Knight looks to try and find a way through. And you can see that these relics are being contested. That's going to be 2 on the bottom side. Meanwhile, towards the top, looks like Faye will be able to pick up a second, or a first relic. That second one over towards that east side is, or it should be safe. But I think even at this point, what we should just try and look to do is make sure we get this relic in. And if that means sacrificing, then that means sacrificing. Now the question is, do we go fast Imperial? And I think the answer is almost certainly yes. We need to go fast Imperial at this stage. Knight coming through on the north side here for our Chinese friend. Wololo gonna come down. Faye looking to try and keep it alive a little bit longer. Onimusha arriving to the scene. Knight going to be looping back around and looking to see if the charge can come through. The Onimusha needed to tank up that charge. Not going to happen. Looks like the Shinto priest may go down here, but fortunately it lives by the skin of its teeth. So very, very fortunate for Faye right there. Scout also looking to try and find a little bit. Not going to happen. Shinto priest securing that one. And meanwhile, Onimusha over towards that east side, just guaranteeing that the security is going to be held down for that relic. But I'll be honest, I think 3 relics this early for the Holy Roman Empire, this is pretty good. I think you'll be happy with this. Obviously, if you can get 4 relics, you know, you're feeling great about yourself. And look what we've got right here. Very smart move coming through on that stone outcropping. We'll be looking to secure up a potential emplacement on additional outposts. I suspect we might have an outpost in the back of the base just to keep you alive. One of the big things that I often talk about whenever we're doing that coaching is you really want to work towards that emplacement once you hit age 4. So you go age 4 and then you get the cannon emplacement on an outpost, and that's going to carry you. And then from there, you're just going to hope that your Swabia is going to be able to print enough villages to carry your economy. Meanwhile, Prelate will unfortunately go down here. Onamusha was in a perfect position, and that's going to be 2 relics that go over to Faye. So she's got the other one that's sitting inside the base at the moment, and will be throwing in more Yoroshiros. It's going to be in the forge at the front here. Not a bad little spot. Shinto Priest looking to start capturing sacred sites as well. Second one down here on the south side is going to be neutralized. Age up about to come through. I'm suspecting we probably see the Swabia thrown down. I mean, you could probably throw it down here. There's the outpost, as we alluded to. So Swabia probably going to come in down on this bottom side here. You want to try and keep it away from the Archon, though, just because there's going to be farms around here. But the outpost is going to be really important. This is going to be what allows all of these villages to remain alive. As I say that, you can see that we are slowly losing them out. That's going to be 3 vills that go down right there. Faye able to pick it up, and there's the Swabia. So coming in on the top side, obviously aware of the opponent and the Onamusha that are just hovering around. So just says, instead, we're going to go for this Palace of Swabia on the top side. Now, ideally, you'd have a few more villages on it. I'm not happy with the amount of villages that are on this. Ideally, you'd probably want even more than that. Maybe 20 villages, like quite literally pulling all of these vills here just to make sure you get this up. Because if this does get spotted out and the Onamusha come in, there's almost certainly a cancel that's going to be coming through. But fortunately, Faye, she's hovering around that south side of the base. Another outpost is going to be coming up towards the front, but it's just going to be a case of outpost defense here for the Holy Roman Empire. Second relic has made its way back to the base, very happily camped up. Ideally, oh my god, 27 military population now coming out here for Faye. This is a lot of military units that are on the board, that is for sure. Meanwhile, it looks like we've got sacred sites that are being captured, so Faye going to be able to pick up another one as she does a little bit of a roaming maneuver towards that top side, looking to try and cancel out her opponent. But we do see the age up now comes through. The Swabia is online and expect to see those emplacements. Cannon emplacements will be coming through shortly. Meanwhile, towards that top, it's just going to be a scout that does go down. All right, we're riding back on board with Faye. We'll check in with her and see how she's doing as more units continue being rallied out across the map. Wall's going to start coming up. Bit of an odd wall here, but it looks like she's going to try and keep this northern corner safe for herself. Onamusha numbers continuing to rise here. And I think this is such a smart move, just mainly because as the Holy Roman Empire, you don't want to go into archers. You don't really want to go into horsemen. You can go into horsemen, but you don't really want to. And so going into Onamusha is just a smart move because it guarantees that she's going to have a really solid opening here. My only fear is that the Holy Roman Empire has pretty much been able to do whatever it is that it wants to do for the last 13 minutes. Speaking of 13 minutes, let's switch that bad boy over so that we can see the income per minute. Not looking too bad at the moment. Looks like they're about even Stevens. We can do some quick addition here. About 1900 for Faye compared to her opponent, sitting about 1700. So pretty close to even. And remember that the Swabia, now that it is online, we are just going to be printing villages. Meanwhile, on the other side, one thing to note is that Faye has not gone for a second TC. It's just going to be a 1 TC play here. She could also look for Imperial, head to Imperial for the Ozutsu. That could be a nice little move for her. However, to be honest, the power spike that the Holy Roman Empire get from Imperial is significantly greater than the power spike that you get from Japanese Imperial. But have a look at this. Great Bombards firing off, looking to try and clean up, and you can see the power of the Great Bombard. Faye going to be losing out plenty of units inside the base. The Onamusha looking to try and take out villages. She's diving through, looking to just try and blow that villager lead that her opponent has got. But unfortunately, not a lot of units getting picked up, and Faye just getting torn to pieces inside the base. So many Onamusha going down right here. You can see that there are just bodies strewn all over the floor. Strewn, I think. Strewn all over the floor. It's not pretty. It is not pretty. But a nice hold right there from the Holy Roman Empire. Exactly what you want to be doing, and part of the reason why it's so important to get these emplacements up is just because of that defense. We also see the relics are in the front outpost needs to move this relic from the back, or from the front all the way down to the back. You don't want it sitting in the Regnits, because the Regnits, it is just not really doing anything. Remember that the relics will still produce that double gold income, even if they're in an outpost. As long as you go for the Regnits landmark, you will be sure to generate that extra gold. Another thing that we should be looking out for is Tithe Barns. So far, there is no excuse not to have it. You've got 1,000 gold sitting there in the bank, so you might as well do it. And beautiful control coming in now from Faye. We can see that she's also picked up Whistling Arrows here, so gonna have that slight little bit of extra movement speed as she's running across the map incredibly quick here. 1.79 movement speed. Walls are starting to come up, and the Onion is slowly but steadily coming online for both of these players. A little bit more of aggressive of an Onion towards this top side. I'd love to see Faye going for a second town center just to offset some of this Swabia damage, and she's already done it. So that is looking beautiful. To be honest, a third TC would be really nice here as well, just to make sure that you're keeping up. One interesting thing to note, though, is our Holy Roman Empire player is actually going for the... or is actually creating villages out of the town center, which is not something that we often see when you've got Swabia. Normally, because the villages are cheaper on Swabia, you just make villages from Swabia. But this is going to be quite the boom that comes out from him here. Still not that far ahead on the villager count. I guess he did lose 19 villagers not too long ago, so it's understandable. Anyway, we'll check in and see how things are doing inside the base of Faye. A lot of houses going down here on the back, a couple of forges as well, and you can see the Shinto Shrine safely up the back does have access to those new technologies, including this one right here, Shinto Rituals. It's an expensive one, 300 gold, but it gives you all of those bonuses that you'd normally get for your priest. On top of that, we've got some Imperial Age ones that we'll be looking out for here. Most importantly, that Bunrei is very nice to have the extra few Yorishiro in the back, just to give you that nice little trickle of 150 gold a minute. Pays itself off very quickly. So we'll have to watch and see. Mark are going to be coming up. Faye with 1,900 gold in the back pocket as well. What is she thinking about? What is she planning on doing here? Let's check in towards the middle of the map. It's still more Onimusha coming out. Men-at-Arms also coming out from the Holy Roman Empire side. A little bit of a head scratcher, not going to lie. Typically, when it comes to the Men-at-Arms, they're wonderful in most circumstances, but against an opponent who is spamming out Onimusha, this many Onimusha, well, let me just say, that is... It's a little bit worrisome. Let's just put it that way. All right, more Onimusha raiding in on that left side. Faye just with a really good control, but can we just talk about the fact that the Holy Roman Empire has not needed to leave their base the entire game? Like, they've still got this gold at the front with 1,700 resources in it, this enormous wood line, and they are not leaving the base. Like, it feels like the classic case of, you know, a child's been yelled at by his mum, and now he's not leaving his room. He's not coming out. And that is exactly what's happening right here with the Holy Roman Empire. Faye, I don't know what you said to him early game, but he's not coming out. He doesn't want it. He doesn't want to hear it from you, Faye. Meanwhile, Taganashima Gunsmith will be coming up behind this. Only 7 villagers working it, so it's going to take some time. Another outpost towards the front. Faye looking to try and take out some villagers. Will manage to snipe one out. Second one manages to survive by the skin of its teeth. Does have that textiles upgrade, and I think that may have made the difference. But now you're going to be able to see the beautiful micro that comes in with these units. Not only do they have that lovely range, but they've also got that movement speed. And look how quick they fire. And you can just see how important it is to be going the right units here. But speaking of right units, have a look at this. Mangonel comes through, big shot. It's going to hit. Nice position there. Taking damage on about 4 or 5 of them. Mangonel's still going to be staying alive. Villagers can be pulled if Faye looks to try and snipe these down. Meanwhile, over towards the east side, we've got a wolf that's going to be working down this villager. I think it might be going the way of the dodo, unfortunately, getting eaten alive out here. And indeed, it will be the way of the world. Taganashima Gunsmith still coming up behind here. And we resume our fight back towards the middle, where the Mangonel is still working its magic. I like the fact that there's a single Mangonel out, and that's going to be what's doing it here. Faye just trying to micro. She's looking a little bit like Marine Lord at the moment, except you could probably call her Musha Lord right now, because this is getting serious. Age Up now comes through for Faye. Both players now in Imperial Age. Slowly but steadily, the circumstances begin to even up ever so slightly. With Imperial Age coming online, Faye immediately looks for Elite Onimusha. We'll keep an eye on exactly what's happening towards the middle down there. It's just going to be those Onimusha dancing around. Meanwhile, How are the economies looking? It looks like we've got the Shogunate Castle coming through for Faye, so looking to get really, really big. And meanwhile, back towards the middle of the map, it does look like we've got the last of the Onimusha. A whole bunch of them have just gone down, but the elite upgrades are now coming through. That's a very quick elite upgrade. I'm not going to lie. Why was that so quick? Oh, you know why it was so quick? Because the Yoroshiro's inside it. Of course. That makes perfect sense. And now Mango's... Faye is really into this Onimusha strategy, isn't she? I remember the last time we watched her play the Japanese, she did this really, really well. But now we've got ourselves triple Mangonel threats coming out. I'd love to see maybe a Siege Workshop thrown down, or you could probably even just go into like Mounted Samurai. I think Mounted Samurais would be absolutely fine here to deal with this. In fact, you could probably just go mass Mounted Samurai and take this out. The alternative is that you can run maybe just Horsemen. Mango Shot takes out one. And even though you're on cavalry and you're a little bit further apart, you can see that you have quite a bit of trouble dealing with these units. Faye did come through and look to try and tickle the Mangoes. Not going to be able to find it. Meanwhile, behind the scenes, Onimusha are looking to cause a bit of havoc as villagers continue to go down. 23 workers taken out so far this game. And Faye just splitting it up. I don't know why she's even really contesting this. There's nothing that she can do against these Mangonels. These Mangonels, like it's one damage to every single Mangonel. It's not a pretty sight. Heals coming through. Mango able to take out another Onimusha, and these Mangonels just they really don't care. All right, well, speaking of not caring, let's check with Faye, see how she's doing. The villager count behind by about 24 at the moment. Still going to be pushing up underneath these Mangonels, but she's really playing with fire right now. Nice little split comes through. Mango's big shots. 5. Oh, why are you doing this, Faye? Why? I really don't understand. Behind this, we do start to see Ozutsu are building, but I don't get it. Is it a challenge that's happening here? Is it the Onimusha challenge only? Are we trying to take like the numbers are 100%? Like, there's no way it's happening. 30 ranged armor against 16 ranged attack. Like, it's just not happening. There's no world where the Onimusha take these guys down. Unless you've got 1,000 Onimusha, but even then, like, I probably wouldn't want to take those against a Mangonel. Could you imagine? It wouldn't be pretty. All right, we'll check in towards the base of the Holy Roman Empire and see how it's going, because he has not left his base up until this stage of the game. Like, quite literally, he's been playing only inside the base. Nothing else has really happened. And have a look at that. That is a beautiful little economy that's beginning to build. You know, we got to get a picture of that one. Give me a second here, guys. I just got to take a look at this. Get a nice little angle on it. There you go, the beautiful Holy Roman Empire base. Who needs to leave the Holy Roman Empire base? You got yourself a... hold on, Drongo. What are we missing? There we go. Let's get that. I hit the wrong button, so we're all good though. That is a beautifully built base. I'd love to see these lumber camps deleted though. Let's get rid of those. Men at arms moving forward. 5 Mangonels out. You know, when your opponent's got 5 Mangonels, there becomes a point where you think to yourself, maybe I should make Springles. And I feel like maybe 2 Mangonels was that point, but 5 Mangonels, it is at that stage where it should almost definitely. Now, one of the things I'd love to see from Faye, it's a little detail. Delete one of these forges, throw down a Siege Workshop, and then move the next Yoroshiro that pops out into the Siege Workshop, giving yourself a crazy amount of production speed on a Siege Workshop, allowing you to outproduce, and most importantly, allowing you to produce in response. I think that's a real key factor here to playing as the Japanese. If you can get that single, and to be honest, you could probably just delete the archery range and get the Yoroshiro back from it, but I think a big factor is being able to react at short notice. Imagine if you could just click a button and spawn a Springald. Well, you can somewhat do it with the Takanoshima Gunsmith, except you get bombards instead. But it's the same sort of concept, though. Ozutsu. Numbers are looking pretty good here. 14 Ozutsu. Remember that they are technically ranged units. Will get countered by those Mangonels, and there's a lot of Mangonels, but they do have some good range on them, though. 6.5 tiles of range. So as long as they can find a little bit of a bait out, and speaking of bait out, here we go. Veteran Horseman is online, looking for biology as well as that elite horseman upgrade. So slowly and steadily coming through here. We're right on board. See exactly how the defense goes. I'll make sure I put my picture-in-picture up just so that we don't miss it. As looks like Faye may be preparing for that attack. On that top side, plenty of infantry though starting to come through. And now Sacred Site being captured in the middle. It's a slow and steady push. The number advantage still sitting with the Holy Roman Empire. Elite men at arms. Numbers have built up. Elite army tactics is through. Horsemen towards that top side. Oh, it looks like someone's come to say hi. Hey, mate, how you going? Hello? No, not right now, mate. We got ourselves a fight. All right, I'm going to bring you up, but we're going to try. Oh, Lord, I've lost it all. Oh, no, he's got my headset. I'm sorry. Not right now, guy. All right, Mangonel's still managing to stay alive. The Ozutsu have gone down by a mile. Sorry, buddy. Oh, God, the Mangonels. There's nothing to stop them. Look at the Mangonels. Oh, they're still alive. The Ozutsu getting absolutely steamrolled. And it just goes back to that whole question of where are the Springles? But even if you go into Springles, this is the problem, right? As soon as the Holy Roman Empire sees the Springles, all he's going to do is just run the men-at-arms at the Springles and kill the Springles, and then the Mangonels have got no problems. So I think maybe Horseman is the right call. Perhaps there just weren't enough Horsemen. Faye going to be trying her best to stay alive. Shogunate Castle looking to get a little bit of an empowered attack off. Let's see if she's able to snipe out these Mangonels. You can see she's doing a decent job. Mango shots to the back. Able to take out 2 farms as well as 10 Onimusha. Meanwhile, towards that top side, more and more men-at-arms running through. And now, finally, that Shogunate Palace has started to fire. I don't know where those rockets were before, but it felt like she was having a little bit of stage fright almost. All right, incendiary arrows have now arrived through for Fei Chan as well. Meanwhile, more units running to the front, and the keep is going to be coming down. You can see the siege power of the Holy Roman Empire. We have got the triple combo threat right now. The Horsemen finally able to take out those Mangonels, working their way towards the backside. Looks like the Bombard together with the Culverin will be going down. The keep that was cancelled got moved up a little bit forward to the front. And Faye, unfortunately, a lack of walls is going to mean that she's got difficulty dealing with all of these men-at-arms coming through from different sides. Taganashima Gunsmith may go down. Bombard is going to pop out, but the men-at-arms are standing by, ready to take it out. Not going to even look towards it. Archery range going to be the focus instead. And now, slowly and steadily, the numbers continue to climb for the Holy Roman Empire. Bombard, unfortunately, going to be going down. Still got my little guy with me here. He's just watching. He's having a good little time. You enjoying, mate? What do you reckon? Who's going to win? Is it going to be Faye or is it going to be our Chinese friend? He doesn't know. He doesn't know. He just put his finger in his mouth and then he put it in his nose. And now he's putting it back in his mouth. Mate, come on. It ain't time to pick a winner. Actually, it is time to pick a winner. I just asked you who the winner was. He's picked a winner, ladies and gentlemen. The winner was the gold today. Oh, gosh. What are we doing? Oh, God, there are raids everywhere right now. Faye, unfortunately, starting to lose workers. She took out 26 workers this game, but guess what? Her opponent has just eclipsed her. 27 workers now taken out this game by our Chinese friend. Meanwhile, towards the south side, a little bit of an attempt to come through and find, I think it was stone that she was looking for. Unfortunately, not going to be there. Meanwhile, towards this base, the economy just continues improving, continues getting better. It is just, it feels like at this stage, Faye is just trying her best to survive. But I think there's I really don't know what she could do in this situation, right? Like, to me, it's maybe Mounted Samurai could have worked. In fact, Mounted Samurai would have been okay, but then you're up against the Men-at-Arms and they've got that extra damage against Heavy. I don't know if that really would have made a difference, but yeah, it's tough. Maybe Reboldaquin, actually. Oh, Reboldaquin. Oh, you could have gone for a deployed Reboldaquin. That would have been... Actually, that would have been sick. Why not just go for deployed Reboldaquins, Springolds, and then Onimusha? Surely that would be good. I'll be honest. I don't know. I really don't know. I think this is one of those tough matchups for the Japanese, where the Holy Roman Empire is always just a step ahead, especially with this fast castle meta. It feels like one of those situations that's difficult. You know, we need our Conqueror 4 guys to answer that question. But now more units continuing to rally in. Faye is up against 58 military population compared to her 8 population. It is it's not a pretty sight. Villager count now doubled by her opponent as well, and it's only a matter of time until the G's get typed. She's managed to find a gold vein over on the other side of the map. Unfortunately, her opponent's villagers are there looking to exhaust it very, very quickly. That Onimusha just going down so damn fast. And now... I'll be honest, I actually didn't realize these weren't Faye's villagers. I thought these were Faye's villagers. I think you get a little bit confused by the colors when they're this close. This is where I wish, you know, one of the changes I wish the devs would make is that you can choose hot colors or cold colors. And the first player that comes in and picks their color, they get to choose whichever they want. And then the other player gets to pick the opposite. So as an example, you like the cool colors would be blue, blue, teal, green, and I think purple. And then the warm colors would be red, orange, yellow, and pink. And then if you just come into the game and you pick green, okay, that locks your opponent to the hot colors. But if you come in and pick red, then that locks them to the cool colors. I'd like that. What do you reckon of that? That feels good. That should also happen in team games. Like you should only be allowed to pick specific colors in team games. And I know. Wait, what about yellow? Did I mention yellow? Yeah, I mentioned yellow. Okay, I was just thinking about the Viper. I was like, wait, what about Viper not being able to pick yellow? Well, yeah, that's a good point, Drongo. You gotta think about your boy. Fate trying her best to hold on. I don't like her chances here, but she is really looking to stick it right now. Last landmarks are here. We've got the Kura storehouse, the floating gate, and it looks like it will be focused down as the battering rams make their way through. Men-at-Arms looking to still continue pushing in. And I think we've just got to give credit where credit is due. Like, the Holy Roman Empire player knew that Mum had been angry at him, so he bided his time. He stayed in his room. He didn't cause too much havoc, and he waited until she was in a good mood, and then he asked her. He said, Mum, what would he ask her? Like, Mum, can I have a new Xbox game? Nah, that's oddly specific. I don't want to talk about that time. Whew, that was not a fun time. All right, well, it looks like it's going to be a landmark victory today. Faye's still holding on for dear life, but unfortunately, you can see she's microing. What is she just trying to get her kills up at this stage of the game? She's just like, I got to increase my kills here, Drongo. You know, I don't have enough kills. How many kills have you got? Well, it's hard to say, but there it is, ladies and gentlemen. That is going to be it. Faye is going to tap out of this game, and our victor today is going to be our Chinese friend on the Holy Roman Empire. So very well played over to him. Nice matchup for him, but at the end of the day, Faye just unfortunately unable to pull it out. Guys, go check her out. I'll leave a link in the description to where you can go and watch her live, and we'll catch you guys in the next one. Thank you so much for watching.